Hi, this is the Bratz Boyz Club, and I am Jesse. And today I'm going to introduce you to another one of my Bratz Boys. I'm very, very happy to introduce you to this Bratz Boy in particular because I thought I was never going to have the chance to obtain him. But I guess at the end of the day, you really never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I started with the first retail purchase of the first of three of these Bratz Boys for this specific collection or series. And I was not really drawn to the other two for whatever reason. After the fact, and this was a few years after, I started to get a little bit of interest for them. By then, they were all gone, including the extras that were around that were identical to mine. But fortunately, there are collectors and enthusiasts everywhere who got their hands on all three, or a bunch of all three, of all of the three. And so I was able to purchase them at, later on. And of course, collectible price, which is a much higher than retail price. But either way, I was able to collect all three of them for this specific particular series or collection. And without further ado, here is the Bratz Boy for today. His name is Brogan, and he is from the 2011, what I believe is the Masquerade series or collection by the Bratz Boys. This collection or series is made up of three Bratz Boys. We've got here Brogan, which is the Bratz Boy with the pirate-like costume. And then we've got, of course, my first Bratz Boy from the Masquerade series or collection by the Bratz Boys that I purchased at retail. I believe that one must have been, let me think, maybe $16.99 at retail. And then, of course, a couple of weeks ago, I was able to acquire the Penn for also the Masquerade collection or series by the Bratz Boys. Of course, Penn was very expensive. He was really, really pricey, and the price, his collectible price, was the same across the board. I tried to look for other options that would be a little bit more affordable, and fortunately I was not able to find anything affordable as for per collectible price. So I had to get him because I really, 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 really wanted Penn, and Penn just brings up memories to me of that era of the mid 2000s that I really think are actually awesome, and I really never placed those memories with certain things from movies back then, and now I did. So the gimmick here for the Masquerade series or collection by the Bratz Boys for 2011 is they're attending a costume ball or a party, a costume party. I call it a costume party. And for these three Bratz Boys, you get Brogan, who's got the pirate theme costume. You get Penn, who's got the vampire costume or Dracula, and then you've got what's his name, Gable. Gable has some kind of sort of like knight, or not knight as in like a armor kind of thing, but he still looks a little bit like a knight's costume, a very mediocre looking kind of knight's costume. Because at first I thought he was like a king, but I don't really think so. He looks more like a slightly downsized knight warrior kind of costume that he was wearing. They're pretty not really emphasized costumes. I mean, they're not really, they really don't have eccentric little pieces that usual costumes would have. But they each look, a little bit like what they're trying to represent for the Halloween or costume party thingy. But either way, what really attracted me since the very beginning to this series in particular, um, or collection, was the fact that for the first time in a while, we had the introduction to three new faces to the Bratz line, and particularly to the Bratz Boyz line. For the first time, we had three new guys, and I cannot believe let this chance slip my hands back when I actually would have been able to purchase these at retail price. They would have been a lot cheaper, because this is just spectacular to own three new Bratz Boyz. Um, Bratz Boyz who never actually were part of the original Bratz Boyz. They just happened to come along, for a specific collection or series, which seldom happens. I mean, it does happen, of course. I have a few that just showed up for a specific year, for a specific collection or series. Some of which might be all on their own, of course. But these in particular, they were three. It was three. It was Gable, Brogan, and Penn. And not only were they totally three new guys, three new Bratz Boyz to the Bratz series, they were wearing costumes, and of course that was the theme, a costume ball. I just can't believe I didn't really took a chance at these. Very glad I actually purchased the Gable, and he was my retail. He was my retail. I call him retail baby because I purchased him at retail. So I'm really glad I don't really have to look for him and buy him at a collectibles price, because I really wouldn't want that. His price is around the same, actually a lot less definitely than Penn, and a little bit less than Brogan. This Bratz Boy actually was not that expensive, not as expensive as Penn. Um, as a collectible, yes, he was more expensive than he would have been at retail. I would say maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 times what I would have paid at retail, but not as expensive as Penn, that's for sure. Maybe not even 4 times, maybe 3 times. So I was still happy that I was able to get him, and I was still able to afford him, and he was not really that expensive, at least not as expensive as Penn, because that would have been a catastrophe. And I was actually waiting for him this Saturday, because the shipment information stated that I would be getting him on Saturday, and I was a little shocked when I received him today. I was thinking maybe he was gonna make it Saturday or later, but I was really happy when I received him today, because I thought, oh well, and I really didn't know it was him, because actually I was waiting for two. There's another one of my guys coming in at some point this week, and also the date was Saturday. So I was expecting to receive both of these guys on Saturday, not today. So at least my wait is over for Brogan, and I get to only wait for the other Bratz Boy till Saturday. So who knows if I'm going to get him on Saturday or later. I really don't know. But at least I've got one down and one to go. But that's pretty much all I love from this series. The fact that these are three totally new guys added to the Bratz line. They're totally different. They're totally unique. They're not the other Bratz Boyz, 5 Bratz Boyz. They come all on their own, with their own theme, with their own collection and their series. So I was really, really thrilled to be able to get my hands on all three, and to be actually able to upload a video for each one and have them in my channel, because they are the most amazing Bratz Boyz I have ever seen. Now I'm actually really, really enthusiastic about all of them. Before, I just only had a thing for Gable, like I said earlier. but now it's more so. I love Gable. I love Brogan. I love Penn. The costumes, even though they look or may look mediocre, they're not. They're pretty awesome, pretty cool. They're pretty just slick. They've got so much fashion in them. They're not ridiculous like normal costumes usually are. But yes, I'm very, very excited about Brogan, and much more excited about the fact that I'm finally done collecting this series. Like I said, in a few of my other videos, MGA throughout these years was going through some kind of legal battles with the Barbie company, and because of that, you normally would get something like a Bratz boy, and then of course everything he was wearing, and then a box. These are not much different. The only difference is for the first time you got a little bit more. There's like a little mask and each one of them has one. They each have a mask to go along with them that will, fulfill the purpose of the costume ball or masquerade ball. And here it is. You could probably take a look in there and you get it closer, just a little bit closer. Yep, there you go. So that's a mask, and I think I didn't do a close-up for Penn or Gable, but that's a really cute thing that these Bratz boys have. That after a while, they have something in the box, not just the doll, not just the clothing for the doll, but they've got a mask, and yeah, that doesn't look like much, but it's something, especially for the little costume that they're wearing. I did back then believe $16.99 was a little too much for just getting the doll and the mask, and that's it. So that was probably the reason why I wasn't really interested in the other two. I just purchased Gable. But now I'm crazy about them. Whether I paid the collectible price or not, whether it was expensive or not, I'm just crazy over them. Another thing about them I love, and I really, really just love down to the core, is the fact that the boxes, of course, they're super cheap, non-durable. They're pretty embarrassing looking because they're really cheap. It's something that just looks horrible in comparison to every other Bratz Boy box that I ever had, especially now that I have a bunch of them. But they're different. The design is different. They look pretty cute. It's not like the other boxes that had the same shape, whether upside or the other regular side. It looks different. The design is different. It looks very, very neat, very unique. You don't really get a design like that with the rest of them. The art is very gorgeous. Like the background on the, behind the Bratz boy. Yeah, I think it's unique to each one of them. I'm going to have to take a second look. Look at all of them. But it looks really, really just special. And I love the little art behind the Bratz boy. I just love it. And I love, of course, the, behind the box, there's this cardboard. And of course, it gives you a little bit of an introduction to some of the Bratz and Bratz Boys. It doesn't really give you, from what I can see, a story, but it gives you a little of an introduction to what's going on. Not much, really, because it's more like photographs. And actually, it's just photographs of the Bratz and Bratz Boy. So you no longer get like art like you used to before, like cartoony art or whatever. It's more like just the Bratz photographed with something they were in there, some kind of fountain, some kind of outside thing, it could have been anything. And then of course you get that little, masquerade ball or costume ball, like little dance or get together, and a little, like photograph at the bottom. And of course it's not pictures, it's not, like a cartoony kind of thing. It's more like an actual photograph of the Bratz um, during the Masquerade ball. And that's pretty much it, which is why you can see it's a little bit cheap. They were definitely trying to save money on these and spend as much as they could on the actual doll as opposed to the boxes. And you can see, the boxes, look terrible. They're very cheap, very, generic. There's not much thought to them. They tried really hard, but they couldn't do much for them. And who could blame them? The legal battles they were going through were tremendous. But the boxes are unique. They're different. In my opinion, they are kind of special, no matter how cheap they are. And I'm just very glad that they look this way because they totally fit in with the intention of making this a very special kind of traditional masquerade theme, whatever. And like I said, I'm really, really happy that now I am the new owner of this Masquerade collection or series by the Bratz Boyz, Brogan and Gable and Penn. So I am just thrilled. I am thrilled of adding him to my ever-growing collection of Bratz Boyz, and I'm thrilled of having made a video of him for you guys. And so this is it for the 2011 Masquerade collection or series by the Bratz Boyz for Brogan, and it was I just want to say I just love him. I love him so much. And I want to do a shout out to the collector or enthusiast seller who sent me him through the mail. They did a great job. Like I said, the box, the wrapping, actually, the box was larger than it should have been. And there was so much bubble wrap. I spent some time unwrapping him. And of course, the fragile item stickers all over the box. So you guys are amazing. You collectors and enthusiasts who are selling me these Bratz Boyz are incredible. Especially from that auction website and from the other seller website. I mean, you guys really, really love what you do and what you have. So thank you very much. And so that was it for my 2011 Masquerade collection or series by the Bratz Boyz, Brogan. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again on my next video. I'll introduce you to another one of my Bratz Boyz, and until then, thank you so much for watching.